Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Random Redshirt podcast. I am one of the hosts, Zach, and the other host is Chris. What's up, bro?
Hey, Zach, awesome to be here. Zach, we have a wonderful, wonderful guest with us today. Aaron, thank you so much for being with us today. This is awesome. It's been a long time coming and this is great. We're finally able to get together.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be with both of you. I feel like I'm right in between the two of you. One's in Colorado, one's in Alaska, and I'm in Vancouver. So it feels like, I can get on a flight and get one way or the other and get there about the same time. So that's it.
That's
But both bloody cold. So I'm gonna stay here.
well, you're definitely right. And you're right, Chris. We are honored and excited to have the one, the only Aaron Douglas on with us. Aaron is an incredibly accomplished actor with well over 100 TV shows, movies, and video games on his resume. He's appeared in such movies and shows you probably have heard of, ones like X-Men 2, iRobot, Stargate SG-1, Falling Skies, The Strain, X-Files, Supernatural, The Flash, Once Upon a Time, and currently airing on Fox an amazing murder mystery show called Murder in a Small Town. He created and wrote comic books for AfterShock Comics, with his writings appearing in the first two volumes of the Shock Anthology, culminating in his first full-length graphic novel, 10 Years to Death, which was released back in October of 2021. Of course, you may know him best as the man who kept the Admiral's Vipers flying, the man, the myth, the legend, Chief Galen Tyrol on Battlestar Galactica. Aaron, it is a pleasure to have you on with us. Thank you so much for being here. And I will say it's about fracking time. So,
If people could see the number of emails over the last 2 years to try and get us to this point, they would be shocked.
yeah,
And they'd be going, okay, which one kept blowing the other one off? This is what we need to know. Nobody was blowing anybody off. It
that's
just
right.
didn't line up.
It's
But we're
it's
here now.
life. Yeah,
It's
it is.
life.
We're
Life
here
gets in the
now,
way.
and
Yeah.
we're honored to have you on. It's funny, we had Candace on with us, and I love what she said about you. She said that Aaron's that guy that you would just meet at like the local bar and hang out and have a good conversation with. He's just like that every man's kind of guy, which is awesome. So. When she said that, I was like, well, yeah, I mean, we have to have Aaron on with us, hopefully at some point, because I know we all love the Chief. So,
That's very cool and very kind, and thank you for that, my friend. Yeah, I just, I'm interested in a myriad of things. I like to talk to people who obviously like the show and like interested in things that I'm doing, but also I like to find out what people are doing. There's no greater compliment that I get than having a military person come up and say, "You're just like a chief I worked with, and I liked him." So I
yeah.
go, "Okay, that's cool." And they say you got it right, and there's no greater compliment than we got it right and we're doing it right, and we're honoring people by getting it right, because as you guys know, when you're watching something and it's just not true to how the military would do it, you just drop right out. It's like cops watching a cop show and going, never happen. That would
Yeah.
never, ever, ever happen.
Yeah.
Or that would happen, but then he wouldn't be going home. He'd be in the office doing 11 hours of paperwork. So yeah, no, I get it. And I appreciate people saying we got it right. And that is a testament to Ron Moore and the writers and people
Yeah.
that kept us on the straight and narrow.
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we are a primarily science fiction podcast. We talk a lot about Star Trek, but not exclusively Star Trek. And we do talk about pop culture. In fact, we even had an episode just based around one of my favorite all-time guys, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh my
But
God.
I love me some JCVD. But
I think
like
there's
in
cream for that. You put it on like 3 weeks away, that rash will go right away. Yeah.
Well, like in Star Trek, and we do talk a lot about Star Trek, but so like in Star Trek and other science fiction, who like to time travel, we also like to time travel. And when you were on Katie Sackhoff's show, I didn't know this about you, but I found out that you actually got into acting a little bit later in life than maybe some of the your typical actors or actresses would do. So maybe kind of take us back to that point where you got into acting, how you got there, and where we're at today.
Yeah, I started well late in life. When I was in high school, I would do like high school plays, and then I did like the local Shakespeare theater in the park type stuff. And yeah, acting was always something that those people did over there, way down far away. And yeah, no, I worked for, I was a floor layer for, I'm a Red Seal floor layer, people. I could do
Ah.
your floors. I did that for a while till my knees said, you just got to stop. You're killing me here. And my back and everything was pretty much shot from growing up playing sports. But then I just compounded that by getting on my hands and knees all day and kicking carpet and, so I quit that and I worked for a sports nutrition company. But if you look at me now, it's a bit funny. But back in the day, I was put together. Um, and then after that, I quit that and I went back to school. I got a student loan and a job at a restaurant. And people ask you, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm a waiter. Oh, or I'm an actor. Oh, what restaurant? Yeah. So I did that for a year. My wife at the time went back to school, and at the end of the theater school, it was actually the smoking man from X-Files.
Yeah, William
Oh.
Davis.
Yeah, Bill Davis, his school, the William Davis Center for Performing Arts. And I did this full-time program Monday to Friday, like 8 hours a day, whatever it was. Lucy Lawless went to
Yeah.
the school a few years before me. And yeah, so I finished that. And at the end of the school, one of the teachers came to me and said, "You're really quite good. Have you thought about making this a career?" And I went, "No." And just, "Well, then why are you here?" Okay, fair enough. She wanted to introduce me to her agent, and her agent wanted to meet me. And yeah, I got an agent right away, and I just started booking things and I stayed with the restaurant for a couple more years. And then I was able to say, I don't need to be here anymore. Sort of that one foot in the door fallback kind of thing. And so I quit. And I quit right after basically I did the miniseries
Mm.
for Battlestar, or in that year. Because in that year oh man, I did iRobot, Chronicles of Riddick, Catwoman, the Lizzie McGuire story, something else, something else. Like it was a very busy year. Um, there was one point uh, I was in the top two movies of that week's box office. It was guy standing behind guy who's holding a sign, and the other guy who just says "sir," and but that's it. But I was the only actor in
Oh,
both films, top
Wow.
grossing films of the week. Yeah. Anyways, so I was able to yeah, I quit my job, and then I've been doing this as much as I can, and for whoever will have me, I've been very blessed. But yeah, I got into it. I shut everything down and back to theater school. I think it was 28. I want to say I was about 28 years old, something like that. Yeah. And yeah, I've been very fortunate.
wow, that blows our mind. Because like very soon after the school, you were in some like very, very iconic features after that. That's that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I got the very first thing I booked was Stargate SG-1,
Wow.
and the very first thing I filmed was something called, I think it was Imposters 2, something like that. Was it Ben Silverman and Lou Gossett Jr., something like that.
Mm.
So I booked it and filmed immediately, and then Stargate was like a week later, and it was me coming through the Stargate, hanging on to Tony Amendola, and him going, "Kid, you can't hang on me. You gotta act. I'm an old man." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, sorry." And yeah, and then but what happened was there was a casting director that really liked me, and she needed a reader. So the person who stands beside the camera and reads the off-camera script for the actors who's auditioning. And so I started reading for her, and then word got around that I was doing well, apparently, and other casting directors wanted me to be the readers. And then finally, Karina and Heike, who at the time and they're legends in Vancouver, and they're huge casting directors, and they were casting everything. And so they asked me to come and be their reader, which I thought was just going to be like this part-time thing, but it was like every day, all day, standing on the thing. And then oftentimes they would get to the end of the casting session and director producer would be there going, well, we still need that cop. And one of them would just point at me and they go, "Oh, is he an actor?" And they go, "Yeah." And they go, "Oh, hey, you want to be the cop in that scene?" Sure. Okay, yeah, hire him. Okay. And it was just like, that was it. It was just, I got probably during that time 20 gigs just because I was a reader in the
Wow.
room and they liked me. And they went, that guy can act. Why not him? Oh, okay,
Wow.
cool. So yeah, that's actually how Michael Reimer remembered me because I was a reader for a film that he did that I never even read for. I was just the reader in the casting session, and he was always like, something about this guy. And so he wanted me to come and read for Battlestar. And so that's when I actually read for Apollo. Didn't get that. Great. Jamie has to go to the gym. And then I read for
And be
Gata
shirtless too. So
and be shirtless.
yeah, yeah.
Nobody wants this shirtless. Like a manatee and an alpaca had a baby. It's so then I got a call back for Gata, didn't get that, and which is good because AJ just killed it. And then apparently it was Chief and Colonel Ty were supposed to be a similar age, and somebody said, you got a lot of old guys. I think it was Reimer said to David Icke, you got a lot of old guys in this show. We got this Chief character that's just sort of still dangling out there. Why not Aaron? And they went, oh, that's a great idea. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. How will that work? Yeah, no, okay, good. Yeah, and that was it. So I was actually auditioning with Heike, one of the Korean and Heike, and I was reading for Dwight Schrute from The Office.
Yeah.
And before we started going, Heike said to me, "Hi, Aaron, so nice to see you. Yeah, okay. But before we start, so you're going to get something in that Battlestar show, but it's not what you've been reading for. It's a different thing. It's called the Chief. He's the Chief." I went, "Okay." She goes, "I don't know how many days there is or how big the character is, but we'll call your agent. Okay, let's do Dwight now." And then I just messed up Dwight, and but I got to do Battlestar Galactica, and I have an action figure. He has a bobblehead. So. Who wins now, Wayne? Rainn Wilson.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's so awesome.
Sorry,
I
my answers can be long-winded sometimes.
No,
Oh,
this is
we love
great.
it. We love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, with Battlestar, had you like growing up, had you had much familiarity with the original Battlestar or any other sci-fi when you were growing up?
Not a ton. I remember the original Battlestar because it was like it's Star Wars on TV every week. It was great. And in your head as a kid, you're thinking there must have been 417 episodes of this thing because I watched it all the time. No, there was like 24 and that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but I grew up in a very fundamentalist Christian home.
Mm.
So there was not a lot of TV watching. There was not a lot of comic books. There was not a lot of things. There were things that were like, you're allowed to do this, but you can't listen to this, and you can't do that, but you can do this. And so I had no real exposure to much of anything until I think I was 13 or so. And one day my parents just said, you don't have to come to church today if you don't want to. My brother and I went, "High five."
Oh.
And I went and I bought myself a little JVC 14-inch little gray television that I put in my room. And I would go in and I would just watch TV and just be like eyes this big going, what am I seeing? So I got Monty Python's Flying Circus. I got
Oh, wow.
SCTV. For people in Canada, SCTV is like John Candy's my hero.
Mm.
And then, of course, you like Benny Hill, and I would watch David Letterman and Johnny
Mm.
Carson and all of this stuff. And it really just changed my worldview in life as to what could be. I would stay up until, remember, it would end at night. It would be like suddenly the flag would come on and
Mhm.
there'd be the
Mm.
national anthem, and then it would go, "Boo," and it would just be the color bars for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
As soon as it got to the boo, I went, no, and I click it off and I go to sleep. Um, Now, boy, if I was 14 now, I would never sleep. I'd just be watching TV. Um, but yeah, so I wasn't really exposed to a lot of things. That came much, much later in life. So my naivete had really extended into genuinely filming Battlestar because
Mm.
I was new. I had some credits, but I really had no idea what I was doing. And so I would just show up and say my words and go away, and nobody ever said anything to me. So okay, I don't know. And yeah, because I didn't know. I'm happy that I didn't know what I didn't know because otherwise things might have been much different for me earlier in my career, possibly middle career, and today I might not have one at all. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out wonderful.
I,
Yeah, no, I'm very, very blessed and very thankful for everything that I've been able to be a part of and hopefully continue to be a part of. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. You Chris and I both are huge fans of the X-Files. I
Yeah.
love, love, love the X-Files. Very much an iconic series. You appeared in an episode called Founder's Mutation, which takes place after they brought the series back. What stood out most to you on working on a show like that? So you worked on Battlestar, which they brought back, right? They kind of rebooted that and with a completely different, format and actors and so forth. And X Files, they did something kind of similar. So what was it like being on X Files after having been on a show like Battlestar, where you kind of went through something similar?
Um, oh, I've never thought about it in those terms. I do know that one of my goals when I started actually getting gigs was to get on the X-Files. But
Oh,
as soon
really?
as I started getting gigs, they moved it to LA. And I was like, oh
Mm.
crap, I'm not going to be able to do this. So I didn't get it. So when they brought it back, there was an opportunity to do the X-Files. And just to have X-Files in my IMDb makes me very, very happy. So um, I know everybody was like super geeked up about having the show come back, and it was such an iconic show. I put Fox on the map. It's funny. One of my best friends in life right now, David Gauthier. He was the special effects guy for X-Files.
Oh, wow.
MacGyver before that. And
Wow.
yeah, he's retired now. We just golf. But he's the nicest, kindest man, but he has stories for days
Oh, I can't even imagine.
about all of that. And having back in the day when the X-Files was really the show that put
Yeah.
Fox on the map and made it a proper thing. And just how much money Fox was willing to spend on an episode or spend for people to just go do whatever the heck they wanted. And like, you want to go visit those guys? Okay, here's the private jet. Go. Like, all right. And to cover, and oh, why am I blanking on his name? Uh, Richard, Richard Dean Anderson would
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
go, oh, no, 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 no. That Richard Dean Anderson, they could get away with whatever they wanted. But then on X-Files, it became you guys can do whatever you want because you are on the Fox show. I'm
Hmm.
conflating the two. But yeah, it was that in the 90s when money wasn't an
Mhm.
issue like it is now. Well, it's not an issue now. They just won't spend it, at least where it should go. Uh,
True.
but yeah, so he's got amazing stories. So for me, it was just about getting on the X-Files because I just wanted to have that moniker and that name beside my name on the IMDb. I remember Gillian Anderson being as kind can be, sitting in the hair and makeup chair in the trailer beside her, just chatting like two people are chatting. Lovely, lovely human being. David, not didn't really interact with him other than when you're saying lines at each other, but he's got a million things to do. He's got people pulling him in all directions. So I don't begrudge him anything. He was kind, fun,
Yeah.
fine, nice, but he had a lot of other things that he needed to put his attention to. So um, yeah, but it was a wonderful, great experience for sure.
Yeah, Jillian's had a quite the career after the X-Files of all the stuff that
Yeah.
she's done, the shows she's been on, and
Oh
movies, and
yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now you're part of X-Files history forever. You're part of the X-Files, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm just glad that I didn't have to be like the toilet monster because that is not a chance.
The
There aren't.
prosthetics of that guy had to have been crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm not fitting through any smaller pipes. That's just like you need a culvert from a drainage ditch, and I can hoof my way through there. Shouldn't, yeah, Shawshank Redemption is there's no redemption. It's just Peter Griffin stuck in an elbow
Oh
turn. Like,
God.
anyways, I digress.
Like so throughout all of um your work jobs and how did you come about with the idea for the graphic novel? Was this like in the back of your mind like throughout all of your time or how did that come about?
No, never. I was at a
Yeah.
convention. I believe I
Ah,
was in Chicago, and I ran into a guy named Joe Pruitt who uh, worked for Marvel for 13 years. He worked for all these different companies, and he's a
ah,
big deal. And he was what the heck was he? He was one of the top three guys for AfterShock Comics, which are now out of business. But and he's got his own thing going now. But we just started talking at the bar at this convention. It's my favorite thing about going to these conventions is the evenings, because you meet people that you
Mm.
normally never otherwise would, and you have conversations you normally never otherwise would. And Joe and I just hit it off immediately, just standing over a glass of wine, yammering at each other. And what do you do? Well, I love you. I watch you on TV. Okay, cool. But what do you do? And um, and then we just started telling stories. Like we started telling ghost stories. And I've got all these ghost stories from my childhood, all these weird, weird things that happened.
Oh.
And so I I said, "Oh man, I've had some of those." He goes, "Well, tell me one." So I told him one, which is 10 years to death, what 10 years to death became. And we got to the end of the story, and he's like hair, I could see it visibly standing up on his arms, and the other people around just standing there going, and they went, "No." And I said, "Yeah, it's not what happened in the book, in the comic. It happens up into a certain point, and then there's like creative license to just end the story. But yeah." And he says that's a comic book. Would you write that as a comic book? And I thought, I mean, I've written scripts for
Yeah.
TV, and I've written sort of like novel form, novella form things, short stories. Um, but never. And so I said, if you show me how to write a comic book, and he said, it's storytelling. Storytelling is storytelling. And so just you write it down, and I'll help you figure out how to break it into panels and how to describe a panel. And I'll connect you with an artist that I know, Cliff Richards, who's in Brazil, freaks me out because I've never met him, but he writes exactly what I see or he draws exactly what I see in my head. So when I
Wow.
get the rough sketches
Oh.
back from what I've said, well, the room looks like this, and there's a doorway over here. It comes back and it's exactly my childhood room. Like my
Wow.
mom sent him a picture, or he was like creeping on me as I was a little boy. So, yeah, he and I, as a professional marriage made in heaven, he is brilliant. Anyways, so yeah, it started with a couple of the things that made it into the Shock volumes, and then 10 Years to Death happened. And then uh, my buddy Mark Verheiden, who ran the writers' room of Battlestar and worked on fall, he was a writer, he was a runner for Falling Skies and Heroes. He wrote the movie The Mask, the Jim Carrey movie way back in
Oh,
the
Hmm.
day,
wow.
Hmm.
Time
Okay.
Hmm.
Cop. Anyways, he
Wait,
and
he wrote
I,
Time Cop?
he
Ooh,
wrote Time Cop,
you
yes.
said time cop.
JCVD.
There you go. Yeah. He is one of my best friends because, well, he's hired me like 4 or 5 times. But I really started talking to him. He wrote my first episode of Smallville. And
Oh,
that's the first
cool.
time he hired me. Yeah. And then so we kind of really connected on Battlestar because I really found the writers more interesting than the actors. And so we had cast and crew dinners, and I would sit at that end of the table with the writers and the directors while the other actors were up there listening to Eddie. And so Mark and I sort of really stayed in touch. And then he and I wrote because he is really, really good friends with the guy who started Dark Horse Comics.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
Yeah.
I pitched Mark an idea over way too many martinis in Vegas one day because Mark and I like to go to Vegas and gamble, and we literally sat there breaking it down, breaking the story down on napkins. The most cliche thing, but it's true. It happened, and I came home and I was busy doing something. He was busy doing something. But about 4 years, 5 years later, he comes back. He's just out of the blue. He goes, "What did you ever do with that?" I said, "I've been waiting for you, man." And he said, "Oh, well, let's do it." So we wrote that, and that came out not last year, year before, maybe the year before that. I've lost track of time since COVID. It's called Borealis, and it is Dark Horse. Yeah, Mark and I wrote
Oh,
that.
wow.
Same artist drew it, and
Wow.
same colorist, Guy Major out of San Francisco, colored it. And Mark and I are working on book two because we sort of left it as a what's going to happen next. But that's going to
Nice.
be something I think that Mark and I are going to do our own and get it printed and then release it, find somebody's website somewhere or something, or just have the fans go, "Can I buy one of those?" And yes, you can. But Mark and I, our favorite TV show is called Deadwood. Um,
Oh, yeah.
my favorite TV show of all time, and his too. And so I had this idea for this thing set in a very remote place, and he loved it. And so we built it together. And Mark is, as you know, a brilliant, brilliant writer. And so I am standing on the shoulders of giants. And yeah, what was the original question? Because I am sort of like I'm through the looking glass here at this
Oh
point.
no, no, it was all wonderful. Like how you had the graphic novels and the ideas for
Hmm.
the graphic novels and how that came about and germinated with you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, 10 Years to Death is a story from my childhood.
Ah,
Drums is in one of the Shock volumes. Is also a story from my childhood, another ghost
Mm.
story. And
cool.
then there's another one called Devolution, which is a very, very short story of a giant world that I have in my head for like a three-book kind of big giant sort of Hunger Games meets Mad Maxian kind of movie series or limited series on TV, streamer type thing. But yeah, so I mean, I constantly have things pop in my head and I write them down and I go, maybe, I don't know. And then I pitch it to people and they go, ooh, yeah, you got to do that. And then sometimes things happen and sometimes I just go golfing.
Well, I mean, fans of Battlestar Galactica, there is such a huge following still to this day for the Battlestar Galactica series. And have you ever thought about the idea, since you have experience now writing in graphic novels, of doing a Battlestar Galactica graphic novel series where you see stories that would have taken place during that period of time that just obviously we never saw on screen?
You know, it's funny. I don't know how many years ago it was, but it feels like pre-COVID. Uh, Somebody from whatever company, I don't know if it's Image or I don't know who has it, but somebody had the rights to Battlestar and they were doing Battlestar books or wanted to do Battlestar books.
Mm.
And they came to me and they said, "Would you write a Battlestar series?" And I said, "Absolutely." And we exchanged information and then I just never heard from them
Ugh.
because I would love to write uh, sort of a below the decks kind of POV of the enlisteds
Mm.
because I think that would be really cool. You always go to the officers' quarters and watch them playing cards.
Yeah.
Why can't you come to our quarters and watch us play cards?
Stories
We're,
from the flight deck.
yeah, better card players.
Yeah.
That's
The
right.
fights are more intense.
That's
There's
true.
more booze, a lot more nudity. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
let's
true.
let's stay down there in the tool room.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's true. So you are on a new-ish, because it's not new anymore, but a new-ish show, Murder in a Small Town.
Hmm.
My wife and I love it, and I'm curious on the how that came about, how that project came to you, and how you ended up on that show.
Same as everything else. You just
Mm.
get an audition.
Audition for it?
You put it on tape, you forget about it. Weeks later, your agents call you, hey, they want you to come in for a callback and meet the director. All right. Went in, met him, amazing guy, hit it off, and yeah, that was it. There's nothing, there's no secret sauce. I'm not big enough to get offers. Nobody's looking for me. They just sort of like they trip and fall over me and look at who's that jerk that tricked me? Oh, okay. Can you act? Yeah. All right. Willing to wear a dress? Absolutely. Yeah. So it's literally just like everything else. Most actors would say the same thing. It's just like, except for some would go, well, I was sitting shut up. Close the laptop. No one wants to listen to your TED talk. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Well, you were also on a show that uh I liked it, but it was one of those shows where you watch it and you're like, oh, this is so graphic and gruesome. I don't think I can watch any more of it. But then you're like, oh, I got to find out what happens next, though. And that was The Strain for me, where
Oh,
where for those who haven't watched it, you played a character named Roger Luss. That show was very graphic, very gruesome. It was like vampires meets zombies. As an actor, how much of a difference, if any, is there working on like a horror type show like that versus working on a show like Murder in a Small Town or BSG?
um, for me, I try to not pay attention to genre and stuff, just play it for the reality of the thing.
Mm.
But in the back of your mind, you know that this is a show where you can be a little more broad. You can be there's some shows where require a lot of stillness. There's some shows where you can be bigger and sort of throw your words to the back row, as it were. Um, and that show is guy in a bar having a drink. He's off a long flight. He's cold. He goes home. Everything say, "Hi, honey, I'm home." And then this walking dead creature thing comes at you, and you're like, "Oh, I am not in an episode of Mad Men here. Okay, this is different." And
Yeah.
then, yeah, so I can get away with that high-pitched, screechy scream that I of out of fear, which they thought was so awesome. But at first, we're like, "Does that work?" No, no, that works.
Yeah,
Yeah, he would
it worked,
scream like a
Aaron. It definitely
six-year-old
worked.
girl
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was in, so that the big writers on that were Bradley Thompson and David Weddle, who wrote on Battlestar for the entire
Mm.
run of the show, and they are the loveliest people. And so they were working on the strain. I was in Los Angeles, and they called me and said, "Hey, we're working on this show, and we've written a cameo for you. You're just in the teaser basically. Would you be willing to do it?" And I said, "Of course, for you guys, anything." And they said, "Okay, great." I said, "Just call my people, whoever. You just yes, tell them that I said yes, and I will tell them right now that I said that yes, you're getting a call, and yes is the answer." And so uh, they called, and my managers, my agents called and say, "Hey, so yeah, you want to do?" I said, "Absolutely, I want to do this. Where is it?" "It's in Toronto." "Oh,
Mm.
okay, it's January." And so I went, "Oh, okay, great. When do they need me?" "Oh, in like 4 days. You got it." "Okay, so I'm just flying from here up." "Yeah, okay, great." And then I thought, "Oh, it's Toronto. Okay, Toronto in January is like Wisconsin in January, and or Alaska in
Yeah.
January."
Yeah.
And I was in LA with nothing but my LA clothes, which is
Oh,
basically like a quarter zip golf shirt,
Oh,
long
jeez.
sleeve, and a t-shirt, and no coat,
Oh.
nothing. So I get on the plane, and I'm like, I'm looking around. I go, I have temperature must not be so bad there. And then as you're getting off the plane, you get people collect their bags and they unzip them and they pull out these Canada Goose down zip things, pull over their head, their balaclavas, and then they open the door and it's 27 below, and you're like,
Oh.
oh my! The driver's standing there holding my sign and goes, "Well, yeah, yeah, that's it. You got a coat." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." All right, here we go. And yeah, so oh man, I was cold. That
hmm.
was yeah, anyways. But yeah. And then I did it again just this last I've been going back and forth to Toronto on a new show since October, and it has been punishingly cold. I went for lunch,
Oh,
walked 2 blocks from my house or from my hotel to lunch, and a tear froze on my cheek.
My gosh.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's 18 below, but it feels like minus 27. So there you go. And the wind is coming off the lake like a knife that's been dipped in hydrogen, and it just stabs you. But yeah, it was unbelievably cold. I don't know why they build cities where it gets that cold, but anyway, the
I,
show is awesome, so I will take it and smile.
I don't know if you can say anything about that show, but I thought I read somewhere online that the show that you're filming is a prequel to The Boys. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
they've announced that I've joined the show, but they
Yes.
have not said who I am playing. So whatever
Right.
you've read online is all I'm allowed to say.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
But for years and years and years, like I love The Boys. I think The Boys is transformative television. They got away with things and did things that just gave everybody else permission to do the wild and crazy stuff. And I've known Carl Urban for years. He and I are
Mm.
buddies. And the guy who wrote The Boys, created The Boys, Garth Ennis is a good friend of mine because we're comic book writers. Well, he is, and I'm not, but I pretend to be. Uh, so. Um, for years, I was like texting Carl and Garth going, "You got to get me on the show, man. I will do a cameo, like anything,
Yeah.
whatever." And then it never worked out. And then this came along, and I was so happy because I was talking to the showrunner, creator, and I told him that story, and he says, "Well, it's a good thing you didn't because you wouldn't be here doing this because you would have been wasted on the boys." And I said, "Thank you, yes." So
Yeah.
sometimes it works out, people. But yeah, I am over the moon to be on this show. It is the people are phenomenal. They're so great. The cast, the crew. It's a giant show. Like it's huge. they spend more in one episode than a lot of shows spend in an entire season.
Wow.
So they're putting it into the show, and it's going to be great. And if you love the boys, you're going to love this. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be a while because the special effects take so long to do because they get them right. But everybody, cast crew, are just kind and lovely and fun and over the cold and the snow, but still, they're Torontonians. They know what the heck they're doing.
Yeah.
But I cannot wait to talk more about it. I honestly cannot.
I, I don't know if you can mention this, but do you think, from your perspective, do you have to watch The Boys before you'll have to be able to watch this show, or can you watch this show first? If that makes sense.
Uh, it would be helpful to watch The Boys because I was talking to somebody on set about this just a couple weeks ago. Um, you get these great shows that set something up like season one, episode three, and then they pay it off in season two, episode six. It's sort of like a callback, right, to this
Hmm.
thing. Arrested Development was famous for that. They're always just alluding back and back and
Yeah.
back and back, and they'll do the joke again and again and again and again over the seasons,
Mhm.
and it always works and it's always awesome. The fact that this show is before The Boys, it's almost like a callback forward.
Okay.
So they are paying off things that you've already seen, but you didn't understand how, you didn't even think about the setup of it. And then this show goes, and this is how that person came along. You go, oh, that's cool. Um, yeah, it's so clever. The number of balls they have in the air juggling, these writers are so brilliant,
Mhm.
so smart and fun. Uh, yeah, you devour the scripts and you have to read them again and again, and then you sit in the green room with the other cast going, okay, so she was there, but no, and then yes, and that's whose kid? And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's so incredibly smart. Yeah, your people are gonna like it. I hope.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking
yeah.
forward to it. We have to send like some warm winter parkers to you, like in Toronto, so that you can use
Oh,
while you're there. Yeah.
yeah, no, they have these cozy coats, and you guys probably familiar with them. They're called Canada Goose Down jackets.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, like the big, heavy, thick, giant things. They're like $7,500 if you get the giant trench coat one and stuff. But that's what they give you as a cozy coat to go over your suit or whatever you're wearing. And then, but as soon as you take that thing off, they go, "Wow." Um, but yeah, they're no, they take very, very good care of it. They make sure that we're warm, but holy moly. Yeah,
Oh, it's good.
it's those days off when I have to walk from the hotel to the grocery. It's first world problems. Like these are the massive first world problems that I have. I understand people. I'm very blessed. I'm not. I just get cold. And I'm Canadian. Figure that one out.
Just unforeseen logistics of like
Yes,
filming in Toronto. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in the Hurtgen forest here, so I think I'll be all right.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. So, what do you think, Zach? Should we get into Battlestar Galactica? Start talking about that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do want to ask one more question real
Yeah.
quick, especially because I didn't know this, Aaron, that I didn't realize that Stargate was so early in your career. I thought it was a little bit later. I'm curious on what it was like working on that iconic franchise. I mean, obviously you got to work with Richard Dean Anderson, who, we all know as MacGyver, and of course Colonel Jack O'Neill. But because that was so early in your career, was that a blessing to be on such a massive franchise so early on?
See, here again, you have to understand my naivete. I had no idea what I was doing
Mm,
or the magnitude of the things that I was doing. It never got like kaboom for me. I was never sort of intimidated or freaking out. I did Walking Tall and I walked on and they said, Aaron, this is Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, how are you, man? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Aaron. And then we just chat and goof off and do
yeah,
fart jokes and stuff. And it's like, that's The
that's The
Rock.
Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm okay. That's cool. But just ignorance is bliss in some ways, right? So yeah, I knew that Stargate was a big thing, but I'd never seen it. So I didn't know. It wasn't like, here's how ignorant of things I was. like season 2 or so of Battlestar, I got a call saying, "Hey, you're being asked to be a guest at a sci-fi con." Oh, and what was that, a TV show? Like, what? No, no. There's these sci-fi conventions, and I had no idea
Mm.
that these things existed. And so I had to, they sort of explained it to me, and I'm like, I don't know. So I started asking around, like, hey, sci-fi conventions, anybody, you know what these things are? Oh yeah, I've heard of those. I go to those, and there's this thing called San Diego Comic-Con. Oh, okay, well, let's look that up. And like, oh, wow, that's interesting. So yeah, I just didn't know. I had no idea. So stepping onto a set with these massively iconic people, um, like some of my best experiences have been on set and not having a bloody clue who you're sitting with or the magnitude of it. I remember sitting on X-Men 2
Mm.
in the cast chairs, like, hey, we're gonna light, and whenever they lit, they decided they needed to light something. It was like a 2 hour thing. It took forever. So you can go back to your room or go back to your trailer, or you can just go sit in these chairs. And so Peter Wingfield, myself, and Hugh Jackman sat in our
Mm.
chairs and just started chatting. And Hugh was just with his child was this big at the time, not sleeping through the night, not doing all that. And my son at the time would have been 6 or 7. And I went, oh yeah, no, my son's 6 or 7. Yeah, I remember those days. And he just sat forward in his chair. He's like, when do they start sleeping? And so, like for 90 minutes, we're talking about the raising of infant into toddler into someone that walks around and draws on the wall with crayons to knocking things over and just like, and in my head, I'm going, oh, I'm just talking to a dad about being dad, doing dad stuff. But it's somewhere in the back there. I'm like, that's Wolverine. You have to
Yeah.
understand, Wolverine wants parenting advice from you. But I just like sort of put that in the back because I just like, well, that's cool. I mean, now I look back on it and go, good Lord, that was cool. But at the time, I just didn't get it. And I'd love for someday to run into Hugh and tell him about that. But I doubt that will happen.
Well, I heard,
Maybe Ryan first. I could tell Ryan
yeah,
Reynolds and go, hey, tell your buddy.
yeah. I heard Hugh Jackman's the greatest showman. That's the rumor. That's the rumor going around that he's the greatest
He,
showman.
he was the nicest man. He was so kind and funny and just joyful and positive. And yeah, it was yeah, a delight. There's been so many of those through my life, through my career of getting to meet people. They always say like, don't meet your heroes. Like, well, I didn't really have any heroes. Like, my
Mm.
heroes were like hockey players, like goalies, NHL
Hmm.
goalies. Were like, oh, God, look who that is. And I couldn't just like, my wife would be like, he's right. Just go say hi. Just go introduce yourself. You're both guests at this charity event. You get that? Like you are the same. No, I'm not. Um, so yeah, for actors is like, I know what you do. It's not that important. Good, really, and or hard. It's not that hard. So yeah, but that's just me not really not having a clue.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Well, yes, Chris, I do think it's time that we talk about the one and only Battlestar Galactica. We
Yeah,
must.
it'd be awesome. But he's also you are a parental mentor to Wolverine, which is awesome.
I need that
That's
hat.
yeah.
That's a
You
hat
do.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an entire podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a parenting podcast by me. Yeah. Yeah, with just like a little Wolverine figure over there.
Yeah.
So Wolverine, when they poop themselves, just like this this is genius. I need someone to follow. I need a producer. You guys got a producer who needs to follow through.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll produce it for you. Why not?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. I got into Battlestar Galactica actually pretty late, so just within the last few years. Just because
Oh.
yeah, I wasn't able to watch it before, but uh, with Zach, I was able to watch it. And I loved it. One of my favorite things about like the Chief is that what stood out to me is like how much the Chief cares about the people around him, like in the episode. So whether they're on the flight deck or they're on a planet, and they're all like in that same circumstance with the lieutenant, right? The Chief is like he cares so much about his people, and that came across like so wonderful. You know,
Thank you. That means the world to me. That's who he is.
Ah,
I would say absolutely. He's every man and he cares about every man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Except for Callie.
Yeah.
Boiled cabbage. Stench of her. Yeah. But no, that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate that because
yeah.
yeah, he's a guy that you gotta like. Yeah, I would hope that was my intent is just like for people to root for this guy who's doing his best to keep everybody going and alive and
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember I got into Battlestar during, I think season two was out or was airing when I got into Battlestar. I got the first season on this thing called DVDs that most people don't even remember DVDs anymore now, which I know it's crazy. Uh, and then I started
I remember
watching it.
top loaded VHS, but I don't remember
Yes,
these DVD things
yeah,
that you're
I had
talking about.
VHS tapes too. I mean, I wore out my Arnold Schwarzenegger movies on VHS. Let me tell you something. Lots of Arnold movies. But
Be kind, please rewind. Yeah,
yeah,
okay, keep going. I'll
that's
stop interrupting.
exactly it. Uh, so yeah, I got into it like kind of season two, which would have been what, like 2005 or six. 2005, yeah, when it was coming out, and it was back on the Sci-Fi Channel when the Sci-Fi Channel actually showed sci-fi stuff, which is not really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But so I watched Battlestar for a long time, watch as it came out, and I can still to this day because I have a couple buddies that would come over to my house and we'd watch the new episode when it come out. We all sit around and watch it. And I remember to the day the episode when you had to announce you were a fracking toaster. And I'm curious, as an actor and all this work you've put into your character, what was your thoughts and emotions when you found out you were one of the final five?
Well, that's a big, long story that many people have heard tell, but I will tell it again. Um, they only knew the Cylons that they knew at the beginning of the show. They didn't have the final
Right.
five. They had the seven. And apparently, what they would do between every season is they would go on a writer's retreat. Ron Moore would rent out this big house, and all the writers would stay there. And then they would break. They'd all gather around a big long table, and they would gather and they would talk about let's break the season. So we're going to open with this. I want to end here. What happens in the middle? How do we get there? And what is the arc of all the characters and the storylines? And they would take a week or weekend at least to do this. And then I want to reveal the final five. Let's get to those Cylons and let's not introduce new characters. Let's reveal from within.
Mm.
The okay. So then it became they put everybody's what I was told is they put everybody's headshot up on a wall and they just walked around going, "What about him?" And they went, "Not Elvis. No, Elvis cannot be. What about him?" And they would argue over why yes, why no, and then they decide, no, that's a no, and they'd pull it down. And they'd go around and do everybody till there was just like, seven or eight left up there, and then they whittled it down even further. They whittled it down to four, and then I think Ron had Kate in his back pocket or the back of his brain, but it wasn't discussed as far as from what I understand. I could be wrong. Absolutely, I usually am. Um, so what happened was we were filming. This is September. Every couple of weeks, the cast would get together at somebody's house for a potluck on like a Saturday night, and we'd bring a bunch of food and bring a bunch of drinks, and we would all just have this amazing evening of feasting and drinking and telling stories and just blowing off steam and being amazing and fun. These people are family, genuinely. They're the only cast that I've stayed in touch with from anything that I've done. I
Mm.
love these people like family. Um, and so we would just sit around and just yammer at each other. And it was so we go to Jamie Bamber's house or we go to James Callis's house, and his wife Neha would put on this amazing South Asian Indian feast.
Mm.
And or we go to Michael Reimer's house, which is close to me. So when we one day we went to Reimer's house, and I went really early because I know that Loretta had lots of booze ready. And so I got like anything I can help, I can chop some vegetables or something. And then and so no, we're good, we're good. We're just setting up. Okay, I'll help you set up. And Loretta and I, she's a lovely, lovely woman, and I would help her sort of get things ready. And I saw all these papers laying around on this table, and I looked over, and we were filming like episode 10 or 11, and they were outlines for every episode for until the end of season three.
Mm.
So I just started like rifling, looking through, looking for where's Chief, where Tyrol, nobody. Oh, there he is. And then I was going, and then it started getting a little like music. Here's music. What is going? No one else can hear it.
Mm.
What is this? And then Reimer's coming out from outside. So I grab these things and I run into the bathroom and I'm like going and reading this. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? And then eventually, I guess I was in there too long because it was like, you all right in there? And he's like, yeah. I was shaving. I went full Harry and Lloyd. And so, and then I was like, oh no, I can't let him know that I have these things. So I did what I did when I was 10 years old, and I found a dirty magazine in a park when I was a kid, and I thought maybe if I shove it down my pants and pull my shirt over top of it, I can just walk into the house, take it to my room. And so I went, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do that with these. So I did that, and then I opened the door, and Reimer said the same thing that my dad said to me, which I completely forgot. What's under your shirt? I went, oh no. Dirty magazine goes in the fireplace, and the Battlestar outlines go to Michael Reimer, and he says, you cannot be looking at these. So like, well, you left them out. You can't tell anybody. And I said, okay, so for 4 months, I couldn't say anything to anybody. And David Icke and my Ron Moore would walk past me and like, how you doing, Aaron? I'd be on the lot, on the studio, on the stage, whatever. How are you doing? I'm good. Anything coming up for the chief? No, just fixing Vipers. You sons. And I would have to just chew my tongue off, and like couldn't tell Truco, couldn't tell Hogan, couldn't tell Reka.
Mm.
And then finally, the day before we had the read through, or the day of the read through, the day before we started filming that episode, they sent a script out, but it did not have that scene.
Mm.
And then they pulled us aside one by one into a room and said, "Hey, so this is what we're doing, but don't tell anybody." It's amazing we got away with it, but only because there was no social media back then, and there was like there was sort of like posted boards, but no one's going to go on there and do this. Um, and so we were able to keep the secret, but I went home and I called Ron Moore. It's like Ron Moore's office, Meryl speaking. Hi, Meryl, it's Aaron Douglas. I want to talk to Ron. It's like Ron's, you put him on the phone. Ron and I talked for like an hour, and he's an amazing guy, and his door's always open, and he'll always take the call. And we finally I thought they were taking a character the fans loved and turning him into somebody that the fans would hate.
Mm.
So I finally he said, look, have we done right by you so far? And I said, you absolutely have it. He says, just trust us. And I said, you know what, fair enough. And he was 100% correct. Um, so, yeah, that's how I found out. And then I had to just keep chewing my tongue off and not telling anybody. But yeah, I'm certainly happy it went that way because I am, now the King of Scotland.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, uh, many people I'm sure have seen the little video clip that people love to throw into reels of Steve Carell in The Office, where he's like, "God, oh God, no." That was my reaction when they said the chief, because the chief was it was and still is one of my absolute favorite characters in the show. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, no, 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 it can't be, it can't be. But like you said, they did it right, and the way everything went was amazing, and it didn't change my opinion or view of the chief at all. In fact, actually, it just made me like him more. So
Mm.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That really was my Toby comes back from Costa Rica moment, wasn't it? Yeah.
it's true.
Take a couple of brownies and go share them with Toby, right?
Yeah,
Should
that's
I?
right. Yeah,
He's back there. Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah. Okay. I watch
yeah.
too much Office. Anyways,
Is there a particular episode either before you knew you were one of the final five or after you knew that there's just a favorite of yours that you loved being the chief?
before I knew the Dirty Hands episode is one of my favorite ones.
Mm,
And that mainly because, I mean, I love the Blackbird episode.
yeah.
But the Dirty Hands episode is because I got to sit at the end and the chief and President Rosalind got to have a drink together and just sit quietly. And even when they were lighting and moving cameras and everything, Mary and I didn't get out of our chairs. Normally they go, okay, we're gonna move the cameras and light. You guys can first team can step off and we get second team in here. And Mary and I would just go, no, no, move around us. And because we would just wanted to sit there and keep chatting. Um, she's the most beautiful woman you'll ever meet, inside and out. She is the greatest actor
Mm.
I've ever worked with, and it's not even close. Um, she's brilliant. She's funny. She's kind. She's joyful. And she can look right into your eyes and down through your soul and just grab it and twist it up and either turn you into a
Mm.
puddle of crying mush or make you feel like you're the most important person in the world. Uh, and it was just a joy to sit there and chat with Mary for that episode, and then some other opportunities to just do that with her. And then after, uh, I think there's a couple of moments. Um, one is the when we finally get to Earth and it's a burned out wreck at the end of
Mm.
season three. And is it season three? No, the middle of season four. Um, where
Mm.
we land and it's like a nuclear wasteland, right? Like we finally get, and then we have to leave.
Mhm.
Mm.
And there's this. It was just before the writer's strike, and there's that long tracking shot where it's just passing over everybody as they're standing there, and we're on this burned out planet, and people are going, "What? No, no, no!" And then they get to me, and I thought, "No, no." The Chief needs a different reaction because Chief's reaction would be, of course it's burned out. Of course we can't stay here. Of course it's like, yeah, this is what we're doing. This is it's again. So at the
Mm.
end of that tracking shot, it kind of lands on Chief and he's just sort of smiling and shaking his head. And one of the writers, like nobody really sees it. They're not, unless you're really paying attention, but one of the writers saw it and he said, I saw that in the editing room. And at first I went like, is this a blooper? And then I realized, no, this is you reacting as Chief would to the situation, which is, yeah, no, of course it sucks. Why would it be anything other than suck?
Yeah.
Like the show is not going to end in Disneyland. This sucks. And so I like that, and I like that they kept it and they didn't direct me to have the oh no, why? Like everybody else was doing. Um, and yeah, so there's like, and then of course, right at the very, very end, um, which is weird because in some when you watch it in some streaming sites, they don't show Chief's last scene. They
Mm.
show him killing Tori and then on the ship, and then that's it. But when they go down to the planet, Ty and Ellen walk up to him and go, "What are you doing?" And I read that scene, and it said, "I found an island off the northern continent. It's cold, but I like the cold." And I called Ron Moore and I said, "Is this Scotland? Is it Scotland? Because I'm Scottish. My ancestors are Scottish, Scottish Irish." And and I was like, "Is this Scotland?" And he said, "No, I was thinking it's like Vancouver Island, like an homage to where we filmed." And I said, "Fuck you." No, I said, "Can this be?" I said, "Can it be Scotland? I'm a Douglas for crying out loud."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, oh yeah, of course." So I ad-libbed, found a continent off the northern island, found an island off the northern continent. It's up in the Highlands. It's cold, but I like the cold. And so I added that just as like a nod to my grandfather. And Ron loved it, and they loved it, and so they kept it. And so that is that. So yeah, there's little sort of like Easter egg nuggets that I put in because I was one of the few that was allowed to ad lib and get away with it, and they'd keep. And so there's just a few little things like that that bring me great joy that I was able to sort of sneak in.
There's a lot of the actors on Star Trek have talked about the amount of what they called techno babble that they had to memorize and you know say over and over and over again in these episodes. The Chief had a kind of fair amount of I would call Battlestar Galactica techno babble. Did you find that difficult to memorize and kind of visualize like all these different words and things they're talking about on the Vipers and so forth or on the
Uh,
ship?
no, I don't like lists or medical jargon. I find that sometimes to be difficult, but and other actors are going to hate me for this, but I I can read a scene twice and have it memorized.
Mm.
Wow.
Memorization is not my problem at all. I've been very, very fortunate to have that. Like there's some people, if you change a word, they need to go to their trailer for half an hour to figure out why, what does it mean? Um, you could give me a paragraph and tell me to go stand over there for 2 minutes and I'll come back and I have it. It's just
Wow.
for dialogue, I have like a photographic memory. I can see it on the page
Mm.
and now the page turns and it's your turn to talk. I know other people's dialogue too. So when somebody stands there, I go, and I go, he was at the horse races that day. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. He was at the horse races that day, wasn't he? Yes, he was. And so that stuff is not really it's not a struggle for me. I know it's a struggle for other people, but again, doing the CIC work would
Hmm.
be brutal.
Mm.
If there's something that I find difficult in sort of like the techno tick the box jargon, you got to find a way to sort of like storyize it, make it tell a story, and then it's so much easier to memorize if it's in a story form, or set it to music because you can memorize a
Mm.
song like that,
Oh.
right? But then you have to take the music out of it. Otherwise, you're like, we're on the hangar deck today. That just is, nobody wants to watch that show.
Battlestar Galactica, the musical.
The musical. A lot of jazz hands, a lot of
Yeah.
silent jazz hands.
I think you guys just came up with something golden right there. The BSG, the
Yeah.
musical.
It could be on
Yeah.
Broadway.
I think if there was like immediate feedback from people watching this underneath this thing, they'd be going, yes, I want to have this happen. Bear
Yeah.
McCreary can write it. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll
100%.
get some of the people from Big Mouth to come in and do the music. Yeah, that'd be great.
It would be. But as long as you're playing the chief again, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's more chief, I think would be more spoken word. Yeah. Or I don't know, maybe. Yeah. He just goes full George Michael. I'm not sure. I could do
Oh,
Elvis or I could do Johnny.
There you go.
Yeah,
oh
or
yeah,
there's like that.
yeah.
There's some Sinatras up there and stuff.
Oh, I love
Oh,
Oh,
Frank Sinatra. I'm a huge Frank fan.
there's a Rat Pack guys right there. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, Rat Pack's over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
a
a huge
huge.
Frank fan. Massive Frank fan. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Same, same.
oh,
Hmm.
that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah. Do
Got
you?
any more Battlestar questions? Go.
Yeah. Well, like? Do you watch? Have you watched your own work, like in Battlestar?
I sort of watched it piecemeal back
Yeah.
in the day. But I haven't like Katie is doing that sit down rewatch all the way
Just gonna
through
say, yep.
and watching her like here's me at 12 years old and then figuring it out. I love that she's doing that though, and that she has us on to sort of narrate a little bit of the things that we remember
Mm.
from those moments. Um, uh, no, I haven't sat down and just done that. It's funny, before Christmas, Grace reached out to me, ran out of the blue and said, have you watched Battlestar all the way through? And I said, no, Gracie, I haven't. And she goes, I really feel like I want to sit down and watch a few episodes with you. Just you and me. Just, we'll make ourselves a little bit of food and we'll just watch some episodes and then we can talk about it. Because, like that was so long ago and I don't remember anything. And I said, I'd love to. Absolutely. Yeah, let's do that. But she's like, we don't have to live stream it or anything. I was like, I don't know, live streaming anything. What are you talking about? No. But yeah, that'd be fun. So yeah, I think we're gonna do some like Chief and Boomer episodes. Just to go like, what do you remember? Because when we go to conventions, I tell stories that they don't remember happening. It's like,
Yeah.
were we on the same show? Yes, we were on the same show. Mary does this all the time. She goes, that didn't happen. Absolutely, 100% Mary, that happened. 100%, I can tell you right now. You were going to the horse races with your family at Santa Anita, and you were asking Paul Campbell and I if we had any hints and tips on how to gamble on the horses. And Paul and I came up with all the horses you don't bet on. Always comes in second. Loses by a nose. Don't bet on Glue Factory. Do not
Yeah.
bet on the. We had her in stitches coming up with these stupid horse names to the point where the producers came over and said, "You guys got to stop. You got to leave Mary alone. Just go away, Mary. We're trying to film here. You guys go away." So yeah, Grace is like, I don't remember that, and Katie's the same way. She's like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. And then, but it's funny because if you're doing like one of the panels with a bunch of us,
Yeah.
and somebody tells a story and people go, "What? No." And then somebody will say, "Oh, I do remember that." And it's like it all comes floating back and everything clicks into place. You go, "No, no, no, that's right. Because this happened, and this happened." And then more people start to remember the story and start to fill in the blanks. And the audience is watching these, 12 idiots up on stage just sort of like piece together their drunken escapade from the night before. It's like, we went to McDonald's. It was a Burger King.
Well, I know when Chris and I went to the Battlestar convention, I guess now it's fall of 2024, we really got that sense of family, like you mentioned, amongst the cast, and
Yeah.
that feeling. I mean, it really was. I mean, everybody, the cast just kind of made you feel like you were a part of the family, right? As a fan, which I think is really special. And so I think that really speaks to the group of you as a whole and the kinds of people that you are, not even just on screen, but off screen as well, which I think is really awesome. When it comes to BSG, as you know, I'm not preaching to the choir here. That show put every character through the ringer and then
Mhm.
some. The Chief was definitely no exception. And so looking back on your time on Battlestar and playing the Chief, is there anything that the Chief, the character itself, taught you about yourself?
Sure. Uh, in the moment at the time, I would think no, because I was sort of like, again, not really knowing what I was doing, not understanding just how big this show is, how
Mm,
important it is to people, and how, just life-changing it is. We were all, a lot of us, like, this was our first big sort of thing. And yeah, we didn't understand that when this ends, you don't just get another one of these. This is really difficult. One, to just get a show, and two, to be on something so important and so life-changing and cool and all of those things. And, I've done 130 plus things and nothing touches Battlestar. Um, and I remember at the very beginning, Eddie called us all into his trailer and we sat there and he gave like this famous, we all talk about it, this Eddie speech is like, "You will never do anything as awesome as this, more important, more anything. This will be the pinnacle of your career." I'm 33 years old man. What the hell are you telling me? This is it? So when this dies, I might as well just take myself off the planet? Okay, great. Thanks. Stand and
that was a
deliver.
great
Uh,
impression, by the way, of Edward James Olmos. Great impression.
when we do the read-throughs, if he was unavailable for the read-through, I would do him.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
best part was when it was a scene between Adama and Chief, it was me just going like, "I can't get those vipers in the air. I don't know what to tell you. You get those vipers up right now, Chief." Just like I would go back and forth for 2 pages and everybody would be laughing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think probably since the show is finished, I look back on it and I've kind of grown up and I've learned the lessons, particularly interacting with the fans and understanding just how much this show means to them and how it has brought them closer with their family, closer with their friends, how it got them through like having people that were like in Iraq and Afghanistan coming and telling me like yeah, we would rush back to base for Friday at 9 because they'd have it on the big screen in the hangar, and everybody would just come off patrol and these Humvees and helicopters would come flying back to base so they could just run in and then the thing would start. Everybody, shut up, everybody, and they would watch it, and then they'd all stand around and talk to each other like that. What? That's insane to me. Um, having people come up and I remember this one guy came up. I mean, I got a million stories like this, but this one guy came up and he had a good limp on and he had like a broken wing and 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 he's like, "Hey, Chief." And I said, "How are you, sir?" And he goes, "Don't call me sir." "Okay, all right." well, can I call you then? And then we just started chatting, and he got blowed up pretty good, and he was back. Um, he got sent to Germany, and then he was there in the hospital for a while. And then he came back to the States, and he was in a getting rehabbing and all of that. And I said, "Well, all right, what's next for you?" And he said, "I got 6 more weeks of rehab." And I went, "Oh man, that sucks." He goes, "But I'm on a plane tomorrow." I said, "For your rehab?" He goes, "No, I'm gonna go find my boys."
Mm.
He just was like, he's sneaking onto a plane and he was going back because he could not be stateside while his guys were driving their Humvees and getting blowed up. And I was just like, what? You can barely move. And that is irrelevant, Chief. I'm like, ah. So there's all these moments of this. And so I said, can I give you a picture for you? And he rattled off the name of his guys and his group and his unit and all that. And I wrote it down and I handed it to him. And I wrote on my back my email. I said, you please keep in touch with me. And like a few weeks later, I get this email from him, and it's a picture of the Humvee, and then taped inside on the roof is the picture that I sent, and it
Mm.
was like, "We're riding with the chief. We're gonna be fine." And that was like, I just went, "Oh my God!" And whew, man, I got shot with a camera, so I think it's not what the chief taught me. It's the people that who appreciated the chief and our show
Mm.
and took it out into life. And and then came back and related to me. That is amazing. You
Mm.
know, I will never ever understand the pride that a person of the service feels when they put that uniform on and they look in the mirror, whether it's their dresses or they're just wandering around, because they did the work, they committed, they went through boot, they did all the things, and whether you got a chest full of medals or not, you did the thing. And in many ways, I'm very, very envious of that. Um, but at the same time, I'm not equipped to do what those people do, what you guys do. So I am more than appreciative. But when they come and they tell me that you got it right and you're just playing make believe, um, that is cracking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. Yeah.
Yeah, I will never forget that guy. He was huge too. This giant black mountain of a man who was the biggest smile, and he was so happy to see me, and I was so happy to see him, and we had a big hug, and I thought he was going to squeeze the life out of me. He was just as, how do you get into a Humvee? Like you can get back in the back of a transport plane, maybe, but like what? No. And he was so geeked up to go find his people and be with
Yeah.
them. That's very special. And there's like stories like that throughout the years of people doing uh Battlestar helped them get through it, which is just insane to me. But I will never ever diminish uh something that meant something to somebody.
Yeah. Um, one question I personally like to ask guests that we have on with us is for my daughter, actually. So she's 12 going on 13. Of course, she's been going on 13 since she was 3, but that's beside the point. And she is head over heels in love with performing. She's been performing since she was like 3 or 4 years old. Every time we have company over, she wants to sing and dance and perform for them. And um, so one question I like to ask, because one day I want to compile everybody's answers into one like little video for her and give them to her for all these producers, directors, actors, writers that can give her advice. And she's doing theater at school and she does theater camps and so forth. So my question for you is, Aaron, what advice do you have for a young aspiring actor?
Oh, uh, uh, so she's turning 13.
Going to be 13 in August. Yeah.
So three through 12, she's been going on 13.
Yes.
As soon as she's 13, she's going to be going on 27. You
Yeah.
realize this, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What's her name?
Grace.
Grace. Of
Yep,
course it's
of course.
Grace.
Of
Hi,
course it is. Yes.
Grace. Hello, Grace. Oh, what a beautiful name. Uh, Young aspiring actors. Uh, boy, I can't teach you how to act because I have no idea what I do. Um, Genuinely find a good acting teacher and try different ones. It's just as important to figure out what doesn't work as what does. It's like trying to figure out what you want to do in your life as a career. It's just as important to figure out what you don't want to do as it is what you do want to do. I don't want to be a floor layer.
Mm.
I don't want to sell anything. Um, and surround yourself with people who believe in you. Surround yourself with people who may not understand what you do, but they understand that you want to do it. And you only get one shot at this in life. There is no second take. There is no rehearsal. This is it. Every day, every choice you make is the one time you get to make that choice. There's no take backs. Make decisions out of love for yourself, the people around you. Um, Make the best choices you can. And if you screw up, just try it again in a different way. If you don't fall down, you're not trying hard enough. And when I've growing up playing hockey, learning how to skate, it's like you're not falling down. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. It's like, no, if you don't fall down, you're not trying hard enough.
Mm.
Okay. And that sort of just goes throughout my life. Don't let the highs be too high. Don't let the lows be too low. Try and stay in the middle. Give yourself a daily affirmation, not things that you want, but things that you are. And tell yourself, I am light, I am love, I am kindness, I am joy, I am abundance, I live in abundance, I live in health and wealth. And I surround myself with people who care and love about me. And that's really an important thing is anybody that tells you you can't is wrong. Um, Anybody that tries to bring you down is about them. It's not about you. And if you're the last person standing, they have to pick you.
Mm.
So uh, just take your nose off the screen so you can see the whole picture. And don't beat yourself up. Put the bat down. Um, yeah, just be kind to yourself, to people around you. Kindness costs nothing. Joy costs nothing. Find the joy and the happiness in every day and even the smallest things. Stop and smell the flowers. Drink a glass of water and go, that water tastes good. It's stupid, but it works. It's fun.
Mhm.
It's uh it's joyous.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. That's sort of like how I try and get through it.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's great.
That is one of the most beautiful pieces like of advice for Grace that we've heard.
Yes.
Oh,
That was incredibly beautiful, Aaron. It was.
thank you. Well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope she hears it and listens to it.
Yeah.
Listens
Yeah.
to it and hears it. Well, however that works.
Yeah.
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 Well, Aaron, I want to thank you for doing this. I know it's been a minute for us trying to sync all of our schedules, but
Yeah. Well, in
this,
2029 we can do part two. It's going to be
yeah, all
great.
right.
We can.
Well, I tell you what, we have done a couple, I don't know, 3 or 4 deep dive episodes on Battlestar Galactica specific episodes, including talking about the miniseries as a whole. And I know we have plans to do more of it in the future. In fact, Chris and I even talked about the idea of, we're having Aaron on. We should do a episode that's really Chiefs centric and really deep dive into that episode and into the character. So you're welcome back on anytime you want to watch Battlestar and come talk with us about it, about a specific episode or about the Chief. It'd be awesome.
Well, if your people that watch you guys have any ideas of what we should do, let them pick. And then
Yeah.
also, we need help with the musical. I think Grace needs to be in
Ah,
BSG, the musical.
Yeah. Oh, she would love it. She wants to do musical theater. That's like her passion.
Well, she
So it
will.
would work.
Yeah, she will. She absolutely will. It's going to be great. She's going to
Yeah.
be fabulous. She'll be with Hugh Jackman. Da, da,
That's right.
da, 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 da. Yeah.
you,
Can I say one thing?
Absolutely.
yes.
Okay, this is for my friend Michelle. Hi, Michelle. I love you. My friend Michelle lives in Melbourne, Australia. She is the person that runs AaronDouglasFans.com and the Facebook stuff and all of that. And I met her 20 years ago. And she is one of the greatest gifts that Battlestar gave me. So I just wanted to shout out to
Mm.
her. And if you have anything trying to find me or anything like that, go to the Facebook page or to aarondouglasfans.com and bother her.
You know what's funny? You mentioned that because I'm 99% sure I follow that fan page on Facebook.
She is the best.
So,
There's nobody better.
yes.
And if you, she knows things that I'm doing before I know things that I'm doing. She
Shut the hook
tells
up.
me when things are being aired and when they're coming out. And yeah, I'll wake up and I'll look and go, oh, Dateline, the deadline, and just said you've been announced for this show. Okay, great. Just I don't have a clue. I'm a talking meat prop. Just stand there and say that. Yeah.
Well, Chris, I don't know about you. My jaws hurt from laughing so much. This was awesome.
Yeah, this was wonderful. We had so much fun. Aaron, you're just such a beautiful and sincere individual. Just
Oh, thank you.
we really appreciate you.
I had a blast, you guys. You
Yeah.
guys are great. This was a lot of fun. Yeah. No, let's circle back. We'll do it again. We'll figure out some other nonsense to talk about. Maybe once this show tells you, or once the show
Mhm.
airs, let's come back and I have stories
Ooh.
about this show, but I will not say a word
Okay. Yeah.
until it happens or until I am told by the people who build this show and own it.
Yeah.
But I I can't wait to talk about my character. I'm so excited. Yeah. So once we do that, then yeah, let's circle back because I think this is going to be one of those shows that people want to talk about and go to conventions and
Yeah.
talk to us about that too. So,
I've got a big Battlestar poster that the cast has signed, and it's got an open
hmm.
spot for you.
Oh,
Missing you.
well,
So
how are we going to do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet.
We'll figure a convention or
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
Go
Something.
to a convention.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that Dragon Con is having a Battlestar reunion this year. They're bringing the entire cast. That's a rumor. I'm not for sure. That's just what I've heard.
Rumor. Yeah. The
Katie
rumant.
told me that. Blame Katie.
Rat her out.
Darbuck,
That's
not
right.
the coffee, the crazy
Yeah.
woman. Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you again, Aaron. This was amazing. And for all of you watching or listening all over the globe and the interwebs, we very much appreciate it. Be sure to go on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, our YouTube channel, and your favorite podcast platform to find this episode and many, many more. And as always, take care, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Random Redshirt Podcast.